Well, good evening and welcome to Mississippi Live at 6. I'm meteorologist Caleb Edelblut here on August the 1st, which is a very famous day for me and a special one as it is my birthday. But we are starting off our August with beautiful conditions, beautiful temperatures. It's going to be a fantastic start to the weekend, work week, everything you need to know. We're going to continue to break down. I even brought my special birthday hat that I've had since a child for the broadcast. Wanted to bring it along with me for this broadcast tonight. Now let's take a look at your severe weather risk. That is the first and foremost thing that we want to continue to cover as we get ready for our Saturday evening. Few of us are within this level 1 marginal risk. Now, as you can tell, most of us aren't really within that severe weather risk. It's for you guys farthest east in our viewing area, but the increased confidence continues to be for you guys out there in central Alabama and even further up north into Tennessee. So the confidence continues to rise the further east we go, but a few of us are still in that threat, and that is due to the damaging wind risk, and we'll cover those storms coming up here in the next few minutes. Now, I'll actually move this out of the way because I don't want it to cover up any of our words. So storms, they're going to rumble a little bit further east while most of us will continue to enjoy completely dry skies. And in fact, most of us won't even hear these rumbles. It's just going to be very few of us affected. All of us will enjoy a cool and calm overnight period ahead. As you saw in the notification that I sent out, I put cool in quotation marks. You can never quite use the word cool or cold here in Mississippi during the summertime months, but compared to the blistering, toasty, and sticky conditions, I think cool is well reasoned for as we get ready for these nice below average conditions. And of course, we're going to recap your July. Our Gabe Maynard, he was covering that in the 10 o'clock broadcast, but didn't quite have the 31st data just yet. Now that we've crossed into August, we can start to give you the full recap of your last month and get ready for a nice start to your August. Now let's start off out here in West Point as storms continue to build on up. And I actually moved this camera over. Those clouds are moving pretty quick, but it was showing kind of some of those towering cumulus clouds as they continue to kind of rise on, bubble on up. And that's where we could start to see some of those heavy downpours and a few rumbles of thunder start to affect you guys closer towards the Golden Triangle region. You can see a few showers getting closer and closer towards the state line, moving just south of Amory. But temperatures, 94 degrees, feels like 108, so we're still dealing with that mugginess right now. But what's causing these storms is a cold front, and that's what's going to bring in this drier air and allow us to feel amazing heading into your Sunday tomorrow. Out here in Ackerman, 90 feels like 111, dealing with some of those kind of puffy cumulus clouds out there in the distance as these showers will continue to move on through. Again, big thanks to Fastnet for sponsoring both West Point camera and this one out here in Choctaw County, located in Ackerman, but still feeling quite toasty, kind of rooting on some of these rain changes to help us cool on off, but we also don't want to deal with severe weather at the same time. Good news is we're not going to have to deal with it for long if any of us really do. That continues to shift further and further east. Out here in Amory, where we were talking about some of those showers just south of this camera, we can see a great shot of it right here. Take a look at how tall these clouds are. This is that unstable environment. Every time we talk about the vertical kind of component of these clouds just continuing to grow, these are your thunderstorms and kind of showers out there in the distance. So 91 degrees feels like 111. We're pretty much looking at those two down here on your radar site. So those two kind of columns of clouds in the air, that's where we're getting some of those heavier downpours and where we could see a few more start to pop up throughout the next few hours. Now, that's what we're talking about here on the next 12. Not many of us will get these showers. That's a good thing. We don't want to deal with the severe weather component. 20%, by 7 o'clock. Most of us enjoying these partly cloudy and dry skies. Mid 80s by 7 o'clock, cooling off towards the low 70s by 1. Many of us will actually cross into the upper 60s for overnight lows. It feels fantastic to finally be back here talking about overnight lows and not talking about mid 70s. It's going to feel amazing as we're starting off our Sunday morning. You can see 71 degrees by 4 o'clock, still sticking there by 7 o'clock tomorrow. It's going to be a fantastic start to your Sunday. We have a lot of sunshine heading into the next few days here in North Mississippi. Now, let's take a look at those showers and storms here in North Mississippi and thankfully lack thereof. We are dealing with some of these showers starting to develop, and you can see kind of that what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of initiation point. You can kind of see a well line throughout North Mississippi. So everyone kind of behind it, out west, north, you guys are good. Y'all aren't really going to see a drop of rain as we continue into the rest of your evening. It's for you guys pretty much within the Golden Triangle region. Let's see if it'll let me tap. it always decides whether or not it wants to. It's going to be for you guys pretty much in the Golden Triangle region, just southeast portion of our viewing area, especially crossing the state line for Lamar County as well, a little bit further on south. Y'all will deal with a few of these rumbles of showers and storms moving on through, which could bring that damaging wind gust component, which is why we're keeping our eyes on it all throughout the evening ahead, but thankfully very minimal in coverage. And we want to continue to see those continue to shift further and further east out of our coverage area. Now, what's responsible for this? Well, we have this low pressure system. You can kind of see that counterclockwise rotation with all that moisture further up north in Illinois and Indiana, and it's bringing down this cold front into North Mississippi, funneling in that drier and cooler air into our viewing area, and that's what's allowing us to enjoy a mostly clear overnight period later on tonight, but dry skies and cooler conditions as we're starting off our Sunday morning tomorrow. And thankfully, we get to talk about it for quite a few days. So let's take a look at those showers and storms with our Futurecast model. Again, very heavy, very prominent the further east you go, especially for Alabama, getting closer towards Georgia, Tennessee, even towards the Carolinas as we continue into the evening. We're not quite dealing with it here in North Mississippi. So that coverage, very minimal, still could impact a few of us, which is why we're going to keep our eyes on it. But we're returning to those dry and mostly clear skies very quickly before we start dealing with those partly cloudy skies and a few lingering showers, or what we like to call that wraparound moisture, kind of spinning around that low. Yet again, you can kind of see it coming in at that angle, and that's what we're going to deal with tomorrow. But most of us will enjoy these dry skies, and all of us will enjoy cooler conditions. Let's take a look at the next 24. We're starting off in the low 70s by 6 o'clock, mid 70s by 9, low 80s by 12. And that's about as far as we're getting. Low to mid 80s for your highs, feeling a lot closer to it. In fact, a few of us will actually feel like we're in the upper 70s as we go about your Sunday. So any outdoor weekend plans you have had stashed in your pockets as we've dealt with either soggy conditions, severe weather, or just blistering toasty temperatures outside, we're not going to have to deal with it tomorrow. Fantastic day to get outside and enjoy some sunshine. Cooling off towards the upper 70s by 6 o'clock, low 70s by 9. Mostly clear skies in store as we're wrapping up our Sunday, heading into our Monday, which will feel that much better. But coming up in the next 60 seconds, we're going to continue to break down what to expect for your evening tonight, but also what your Sunday has in store, what your Monday has in store, and just what the work week has ready for us and how long these cooler conditions will last. All of that's coming up in the next 60 seconds.
It's back to school BOGO at Room to Room. Buy one, get one half off store-wide on furniture, mattresses, and more. Or take advantage of 12-month special financing. Don't wait. Shop today and save big before this event ends. Room to Room Tupelo. There's no place like home.
When C.K. Little opened his doors in downtown Corinth nearly 80 years ago, his plan was simple: deliver excellent service and exceed expectations. That's why we say a little gift goes a long way.
Every legend starts somewhere.
Not with perfection, but with the decision.
The decision to show up, work harder, and believe this place can change everything.
At Northeast, you're more than just a number.
We're built on opportunity, and our students are willing to rise to the occasion.
Here, success isn't handed to you. It's earned.
You don't just leave with a degree, you leave as a legend.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Caleb Edelblut.
Well, thank you so much for the birthday wishes and the comments. I always love checking in on them between breaks and make sure you guys have any questions or comments or anything y'all want to share. I appreciate each and every one of them and could not be more excited to spend my birthday evening with you guys and getting you prepared for tomorrow, which is going to feel amazing. Let's take a look at your evening planner. We're starting off with around 20% coverage by 8 o'clock, and that might still be overdoing it, but we could still see a few showers and storms try to develop along that boundary by 8. We're starting off in the low 80s temperature-wise, continuing to slowly cool off towards the low 70s by 2, and that's typically as far as we'd make it, especially with those mild, muggy conditions we've had to deal with. But we're going to continue to make our way into the upper 60s tonight. It is going to feel fantastic. Now let's take a look at those heat indices as well. You can already start to tell what's happening here in North Mississippi. We're starting to see that cooler, drier air funnel into our northern half of the state. And of course, it impacts you guys further up north, closer towards that Mississippi-Tennessee state line earlier. So 85 in South Haven, 84 Holly Springs, 86 in Corinth. But while it continues to make its way through, and for those that haven't gotten it yet, triple digits for the southern portions of our viewing area, 111 in Starkville, 106 Columbus and Macon, same for Louisville, 103 out there in Kosciuszko. This will start to feel a lot better as we head into our Sunday, and especially even towards the start of the work week. We take these nice conditions with us towards our work week responsibilities. Now, coming back to Futurecast, we still see that cold front kind of draped across North Mississippi, bringing in that drier and cooler air. We see most of that rainfall further out west, or east, excuse me, and it's not moving. So let's see if I can change that, because we're definitely not having any stationary showers here. Let's see if I can switch this back. Let's see what it's pulling from. Let's see if that'll fix it. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit more believable. All right, and then we take this, see if that should play on out. There we go. Okay, let's put that back in play, and we'll continue to break down these showers. So this is that model that we got earlier on this afternoon. We'll have some new ones come out throughout the rest of the evening, so make sure to stay posted and updated with us here. We'll give you the very latest, but a few of us will deal with some of those showers. We saw some of those in the southern portions, or just south of Amory and into Monroe County, so by 6 o'clock. So doing pretty well on the location of these showers. Thankfully, not quite dealing with that same overall intensity. It's going to continue to move further and further on out of our area. You can tell how heavy it gets later on for you guys just out east. And since I'm standing over there, it went by a little too fast. Let me just kind of go in here and break it again, and we can continue to play with it. Pull off that cold front so you guys can see it. Let's see if I can stop that. We'll take off surface analysis, so bear with me, but I want to make sure you guys can kind of see everything we're looking at here. We'll pull that off. Okay, so we're dealing with some of these showers, and I'll zoom this out. That way I'm not blocking anybody. That way all of you guys can see y'all's respective location. So we're dealing with some of these showers and storms, a lot more prominent further out east across the state line for you guys out there in Alabama, but still impacting the far eastern side of our viewing area where we saw that severe weather risk in place. And as we continue by past the 6 o'clock hour towards 7 and 8, take a look at how we can't quite escape those storms just yet. They continue to kind of fire on up and just bother a few of us, especially for the Golden Triangle region, getting closer towards Noxubee, Winston County. This is at 8:30 later on tonight. Very heavy the further east you go. That's what I want to continue to kind of emphasize, that main severe weather threat, a little bit more confident further out east for you guys out there in Alabama. So you guys will deal with some of those storms later on tonight. That's around 8:30. And as we get closer towards the 9 o'clock broadcast, or 10 o'clock, we're already getting back towards those mostly dry conditions. So we're not having to deal with this throughout the rest of your evening into the overnight period. This is not an all night long event. So make sure to stay weather aware and updated throughout the next, let's say, 3 to 4 hours, and then we're pretty much good. We're ready to go to bed. We're enjoying this drier and cooler air starting to funnel into North Mississippi, and that's what's going to allow us to stay dry throughout the overnight period. And then we're kind of dealing with that wraparound moisture with some of those rain chances as we get ready for the early Sunday morning hours. Again, not quite confident on them. The lowest shade of green we see, maybe a sprinkle or two. Can't quite rule them out throughout your Sunday ahead tomorrow, but dealing with stormy or downpours like we could today, not going to be the story tomorrow. So definitely good news on the horizon. Speaking of good news, take a look at these low temperatures. Upper 60s finally making their way back into the forecast. Definitely below average for this time of year. So we're not quite to the fall conditions just quite yet, but it gives us a little tease as we get ready for the September, October, and November months coming on up. But very cool start to your Sunday tomorrow, and it'll still be a perfect day to spend your day out there at the pool. We've made it to our countdown, so we're starting to kind of count up now with that negative sign. So we'll have to continue to update that for you guys. But 73 degrees by 8 o'clock, low 80s by noon. Even looking to the afternoon, we're not warming up much further. So low to mid 80s for your highs, and that UV index also not as high or extreme. So still take the sunscreen out there, especially for me. I burn quite easily no matter what it is, but it'll still be very pleasant as we go about our Sunday tomorrow. Now, let's take a look at those mostly dry and mostly clear conditions as we're starting off our Sunday. We're going to deal with these partly cloudy skies pretty quickly as we continue throughout our mid-morning hours, getting closer towards lunchtime. And yes, a few of us will deal with a few brief sprinkles, maybe a heavy downpour here or there, but most of North Mississippi continues to stay dry. This is that wraparound moisture continuing to kind of wrap around that low pressure system that we were talking about. We can still see some of those heavier downpours out here towards Pontotoc, maybe by 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. A little bit heavier towards Tishomingo, getting closer towards Boonville and Prentiss County, just across the state line, just south of Savannah. but that's about it. It's just these kind of brief, heavy downpours, if any, that we see tomorrow, affecting you guys in the same area, Tishomingo and Prentiss County. That's around 6 o'clock tomorrow. But as a whole, most of North Mississippi continues to stay dry, and we're feeling pretty pleasant in the process. Those high temperatures, mid-80s all across our region, and those feels like values pretty much sticking the same way. Upper 70s further north you go, 79 in Corinth, 78 in Boonville, 79 again in Iuka. This is amazing for the start of August here in North Mississippi, still in those summertime months. So not bad as we're getting ready for the last bit of our weekend. Thankfully, that trend, that will follow us into the work week as well. So let's go back to Futurecast. Our strike model still doing pretty well, giving us a chance to see kind of these pop-up showers all across North Mississippi. Still not quite sold on them just yet, but we do have the possibility for your Sunday evening at around 6 o'clock. But they'll continue to move on out as we're returning back to those dry and completely clear skies into the overnight period for your Sunday into your Monday. Fantastic start to a Monday morning. Still seeing some of that northerly wind blow on through. That's allowing us to stay dry and pretty cool for this time of year. 12:30 for your lunchtime on Monday. Still not dealing with any showers. That will continue even towards your evening hours as we're getting off of work, ready for our commute back home for the night. And speaking of night, continue to stay dry all day long and into the overnight period. So if I had to pick between Sunday and Monday, which day would technically be just a little bit drier? Monday definitely looks like a more kind of sunny and drier day ahead. Sunday, keep that umbrella just in case you are dealing with anything outside. Could see a brief sprinkle, heavier downpour, but still dealing with those mostly dry conditions throughout the next few days. Now those high temperatures, we will warm up bit by bit heading into the next few days, but still very bearable as those highs are reaching the mid to upper 80s and feels like values still doing pretty well. We're not talking about triple digits now. I know we're still feeling like the mid 90s, even getting closer towards upper 90s for you guys out there in Greenville, even towards Belzona and Cleveland, but to not talk about triple digits or heat advisories, extreme heat warnings, definitely a nice shift in the forecast. We'd like to keep it that way as long as possible. And taking a look at our 7-day forecast, we can pretty much keep it that way for a good bit. Again, Sunday will be the coolest part of the week coming on up. Highs in the low to mid 80s. A few of us actually feeling like we're in the upper 70s. And we're going to continue to slowly work our way up warmer and warmer throughout the next few days. Finally making our way back towards the mid 90s, maybe not even until next weekend. And that's when our rain chances come back into play. Go figure, always dealing with those on a Saturday and Sunday here in North Mississippi. But these pleasant conditions, they'll continue. So we're tracking out these storms tonight, dealing with a few of those, especially for the far eastern portion of our viewing area. But coming up in the next 60 seconds, we're going to officially recap all of July now that we are finished with the 31st. Officially in August. We'll take a look at kind of what those temperatures, highs and lows, and rainfall looked like all throughout the month and what was above average, below average, nearly average. We'll recap all of that, take another look at radar before wrapping things up. All of that's coming up in the next minute.
Hi, I'm Mississippi Live Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon. Reserve your St. Jude Dream Home giveaway ticket by July 31st, and you'll be eligible to win the house and the early bird prize, a $10,000 gift card to Brooks Grocery. Visit dreamhome.org to reserve your ticket for $100 and help St. Jude Children's Research Hospital continue its life-saving work. Then watch Mississippi Live on October 29th to see who wins the house and the other prizes. Reserve your ticket today.
Dust off your favorite shotgun and sign up for the Natchez Trace Council Clay Classic. Call 662-842-2871 or visit natcheztracecouncil.org.
Boys and Girls Club of North Mississippi presents Dance Like the Stars 2026, Saturday, August 8th at the Huntington Bank Arena. Floor seating is $50 and general admission seating is $20. All proceeds benefit the Boys and Girls Clubs of North Mississippi. For more information, visit bgcnms.org.
Well, I didn't catch this, but it looks like Mel Dell, when she was commenting happy birthday, she said hers was Sunday. So happy birthday to you, whether that's this upcoming Sunday, but you used past tense. So I'm going to assume it was this past Sunday. Happy belated birthday, or maybe I'm just a day early. But let's take a look at that severe weather risk, because I know some of you guys were commenting, are we expecting thunderstorms tonight or something worse? A few of us are within this severe weather risk for our Saturday evening. You can tell it's pretty much the southeastern portion of our viewing area, but that confidence continues to grow further and further out east. And that's what we've seen a lot on those futurecast models that we were just breaking down. Just the overall kind of intensity and quantity of those storms continues to pretty much be for you guys out there in Alabama, further up north and getting closer towards Georgia and Tennessee. But for us here in North Mississippi, it's for you guys pretty much just east of Highway 45, especially for our Alabama counties, Golden Triangle region, Noxubee, Winston, portions of Atala. You guys are within that level 1 risk. Now, are we expecting anything worse tonight, like tornadoes? Absolutely not. That is not in the forecast tonight. And the same thing goes for hail as well. So if we're dealing with some of these stronger storms, if we're dealing with hail, not quite meeting that 1 inch in diameter criteria, could maybe see some pea-sized hail or dime-sized hail, but anything severe or meeting that criteria, not really in the forecast tonight. That continues to be a positive. What we are dealing with is the fact that we could see some of that damaging wind, and we see these with typical just summertime pop-up thunderstorms that we don't even have to be within this level 1 risk. So this is going to be something that we want to continue to monitor very closely. Could get a little bit gusty and breezy as these storms kind of build up and collapse over your town if you are one of those that it kind of just starts its collapsing phase. So that's why we're keeping our eyes on them, especially as they're starting to fire on up, and how long they'll last before starting to collapse. That's what we're going to get ready for. So we're going to keep our eyes on that. We'll go back to radar before wrapping this up. Thankfully, not quite dealing with anything severe at this moment. Hoping to keep that going throughout the rest of your evening. But let's take a look at your July high temperatures. I mean, we could deal with quite a few below average conditions across our region, and it looks like, let me make sure my phone. Okay, I wanted to make sure Matt or Gabe weren't calling me if something was wrong. Take a look at your July high temperatures. Most of them were right around near average. The blue is when we were actually below average, so upper 80s, July 7th and 8th, getting throughout the 12th through the 15th. We dealt with those muggy, toasty, and just sticky conditions all throughout the last week. We started to near that near average quantity or kind of I guess, classification yesterday, and thankfully really enjoying those below average conditions as we head into the weekend. Take a look at these low temperatures. Not quite dealing with below average conditions quite as frequently or as much as we were with our highs. In fact, most of our July was right around average, but you can definitely tell at the end when we were talking about these overnight lows constantly in the mid to upper 70s, not even talking about low 70s, let alone upper 60s. You can definitely tell why I'm very excited to continue to give you guys this updated and just nice information that will actually feel pretty pleasant as we're starting off our Sunday. Thankfully, that will continue even towards our Monday and Tuesday as well. Now, your July rainfall, can't quite agree with the 31st just quite yet because quite a few of us got some of that rain. I know us up here in Tupelo did as well, but a pretty dry July in general, and that's pretty much on average for the summertime season. We deal with these pop-up showers and thunderstorms, but we don't quite deal with consistent rainfall, if that makes sense. So still dealing with mostly dry days, but almost an inch on July 1st here in Tupelo, above 3/4 of an inch on your Friday, around 1/2 inch on the 10th. So still pretty impressive, right around average for this time of year, but it's always fun kind of showing those calendars as we wrap up a month and get ready for the new one. Now, before we wrap this up, wanted to make sure there are no new comments, which there aren't. So looks like I explained everything pretty well for you guys, but to kind of put everyone at ease to continue enjoying your evening, let's take a look at these storms continue to pop up in North Mississippi. And I will say, just looking at it for the first 10 seconds here, total strikes are up to, well, now 83, but not quite as high as they were earlier today. So we're not dealing with the same energy that was already ongoing earlier today. And we can even put this on a loop for the past hour. We can back this on up and we'll see those strikes go up all the way into the triple digits. So yeah, we were around 150 around 527, and that's with these showers and storms further out east across the state line, past our Alabama counties, getting closer and closer to Birmingham. And that's where the confidence for the severe weather just continues to increase and build. So for us here in our viewing area, not quite dealing with the same level, but we will have to deal with a few storms trying to pop on up. And that's why we can go back to right now, starting to see some of those heavier downpours start to pop on up. And we can zoom in on some of these just to see how energetic they are. If I had to guess, it's probably going to only be this storm right along the state line into Lamar County. 40 strikes all within this frame. I bet most of it's getting picked up further on out of our range. We'll get that out of here. And now we're picking up only 12. Sorry, my head always covers it up. So still dealing with a few rumbles of thunder and a few flashes of lightning, but the overall severe weather or intensity continues to not be impressive at all. So wanted to kind of give y'all that latest look at radar before we wrap this on up. Of course, I'm going to keep my eyes on it all throughout the rest of the shift and make sure you guys are updated, and we'll be ready to go live in an instant in case we have to cover any of these storms that decide to misbehave, which is why it's very important to download the Mississippi Live Weather app. You can do so today if you haven't done so already by scanning the QR codes. It'll take you to the App Store, whether you have iOS or Android. Same app, compatible for all of you guys out there, and a very powerful tool that you can have right on your fingertips and pretty much in the pocket that you can take wherever. We'll send you notifications every time we go live, whether that's outside of this broadcast schedule or any important updates. But I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in tonight at 6. We'll be live again later on tonight at 9 and 10, giving you the very latest as we continue to prep for an amazing Sunday morning tomorrow, and these cool, in quotation marks, conditions continuing into the start of the work week. But until then, y'all continue to enjoy y'all's weekend. Have a fantastic Sunday tomorrow. Make sure to get outside, enjoy some outdoor activities, and send them in with the Mississippi Live Weather app. I'd love to broadcast what you guys are up to all across our region. And I can't wait to see you guys later on this evening at 9 and 10.
As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling realizes many people are worried about